tools of the trade. Let's see. Again, sanding small parts. Let's see. Check this. Yeah, that's me. All right. Hi Vasilis. Hi there. Yeah, Big Nasty, I am. I've already done that on a live stream. I live streamed last Saturday and I've recut all the inlays just slightly smaller. And now, of course, I have to spend some hours to clean them up. So I thought, well, just fire up the camera, put on a live stream and start sanding all the edges. And hopefully get them all done in time for when the epoxy resin arrives. And then hopefully I can have the inlays done in a video for next week. But yeah, fingers crossed. So I might have to do some streaming instead of doing a video. Maybe on some other topics. Yeah, Barry, yeah, I'm getting into the live stream vibe. It's a bit addictive, to be honest. And well, I'm in the shed anyway. And now that I have the capabilities to live stream, which I didn't have before, I'm here anyway. So why not put up a live stream when I'm not recording videos? And I like chatting with you guys. Do you like play? Oh, Big Nasty, this will be my first offset guitar ever. I usually don't like asymmetrical things. I like everything to be as symmetric as possible. So this is a brand new experience for me with building and eventually playing an offset guitar. Oh. Yeah, I'm well aware of the neck dive, so I hope my design is correct, so I won't have too much trouble with neck dives. But I know they are prone to neck dive. So I try to make my headstock nice and small. I really don't like big headstocks anyway, so small headstock. And try to keep the 12th fret as close to the body as possible and have a bit of weight in the body. Not too much, hopefully, but nope, other way around. I forgot my big files. Huge. Yeah, I really have to remove my glasses. Oh, chips. Hi. What tools do I recommend for intricate inlays? Oh, was there someone? Nope, no one there. To start off with, get yourself a nice jeweler saw. And this one is, oh, I thought it was unbranded, but it's a Nyqua. So it's Nyqua, and it's made in Germany. So this is and they're not that expensive. So get yourself a nice jeweler saw, some tiny files, and these are very tiny diamond files and they're unbranded, so I can't help you with that, but look for tiny, in the Netherlands we call them translated key slotting files, key files, so I don't know the English term. Yeah, just a variety of files in all shapes and sizes, bigger ones, tiny ones. And for blades, for my jeweler saw, I use these blades by a Swedish company called Baco, and they're just aluminium cutting blades. This is size 302, and I think this is also a very similar brand, maybe even they're maybe part, I believe, of the same company. Scandia, it's also a Scandinavian brand. Also metal cutting, plastic cutting, jeweler saw blades. Fret saw blades, they're called in English. But so I recommend tools as essentially all you need. And of course some sandpaper. Hey Paul, aloha. Yeah, needle files. I think that's the correct name for the tiny files. This one's a bit too big. Oh yeah, and of course, how could I forget, this is only for cutting the inlays. And of course you need a Dremel or Proxxon tiny router with some very tiny router bits. I would not go any smaller than a 1 millimeter diameter router bit. But of course a Dremel with a precision router base. Let's see if I can grab mine real quick. So just a Dremel with a precision router bit, and they sell these at either TLC Guitar Goods or StewMac, whatever you prefer. And they fit a Dremel, and yeah, it takes some practice, but this is all you need to do some intricate inlays, and of course a lot and lots of patience. Patience, not patience. Yeah. Well, enjoy your vacation at least, Vasilis. You have something to look forward to. When you come back, you can start your next guitar build. How's the sound quality, guys? Because I'm only running one mic at the moment, just for my ease. Good, good, okay. Thank you, thank you. Sound quality is considered even more important than the image quality. But it's something I can't check myself. Thanks, Tireman. Professional quality from an amateur streamer. Uh-oh. It's nice to be back in the shop again after a day in the office for my day job. Although it's getting a bit warm. Big Nasty, no, probably a gloss finish or at least a lacquered finish. Maybe semi-gloss or gloss. But I want this to have a very hard-wearing, very... Is sturdy the correct word? No, not really. I think a hard-wearing, hard finish. Although I like oil finishes, but this is going to go to trade shows, or I will sell it. Of course, it's going to up for sale. But if not, then it's going to go with me on trade shows, and yeah, trade shows are very hard on a guitar. Oil finishes are nice, but they can scratch. And if I take them to trade shows, every time I come back from shows, I have to maintain the finish and or restore it or buff it again. And hopefully with a lacquer based finish or a harder finish, I won't have that issue as much. And I also want to improve my skill on lacquer based finishes. Durable, yeah, a durable finish. Thank you. Englishman, sometimes I feel I feel like a toddler, not knowing the words, and I know them, but yeah, translating and thinking of what to say, it's not the easiest. And the funny thing is, when when I'm speaking Dutch and talking about guitars, I only can think of the English words for stuff, and I often even don't know the Dutch words. Are you following the Euro Cup finals? No, not really. For example, I don't even know when the next match is. If I happen to come across it and I'm not in the workshop, I might watch the match. And maybe if the Dutch team reaches the finals, perhaps I will watch that. But just to have something to talk about at my day job. When I'm at the coffee machine, but no, not really. Usually I'm too busy. You can imagine I don't have that much time off. No Scotland, no party. Let's find a new container to put in the pieces I've sanded, and I have to mark it. Come on. Good inlays, sanded. Like so. Put a label on it. What do your colleagues think of your guitar? The ones I've met, they also think they're awesome. The colleagues I've met at trade shows, for example, we all love each other's work. If that's what you meant, Big Nasty, or do you mean my YouTube, the things I do online on YouTube? Hi Walter, I'm fine, thank you. How are you? Volta 1234. Oh, at my day job. Oh, they think it's great. They have nothing but the utmost respect. I think they're a bit bummed out that I'm leaving them every Wednesday afternoon or at noon. They might be a bit jealous, maybe, of my working hours. Oh, here comes some coffee. Thank you. They always think I'm off for the weekend, and I always have to remind them that my working week is just starting when I leave them, that I go there to rest. Oh, Volta, great to hear, great to hear. How's it going? Scary stuff. I'm sure. The first refret, always a bit scary. But take it slow, take your time, and you'll be fine. Whose idea was it to put so many edges on the inlay? Oh man. Yeah, a little scary, yeah. Take your time and reference my tutorial. Shameless self-plug, which is also a bit necessary, but I have to say, guys, I think the hand cut inlays did come out nicer. I'm actually a bit bummed by that. If you haven't seen today's video, you know what I'm talking about. You're welcome, you're welcome. What other inlay materials have you tried? To be honest, none. I really love aluminium as an inlay, but it's yeah, and well, I did some copper once. That's true. I did copper, and it's the same. It's exactly the same as aluminium. Same goes for mother of pearl, but I think mother of pearl is a bit overpriced. If you have to buy those little pieces from a guitar builder's website, store, how do you call it, part store or supplier. And like I said in today's video, I think acrylic might be a good inlay material as well, depending on the hardness. Gold might be nice to try. But hey, I'm not a huge fan of gold. But I think as long as it's durable enough, I could remember the word, and hard enough and such, and you can cut it, sand it and polish it, I think any material can be used as inlay. Maple, for example, ebony. I think it's a new trend. You see it online once in a while. Those half and half ebony and maple fretboards that have a gradient or birds from one color into the other. Transition from one to another. Flames, birds, skulls, I don't know. So any hardwood you can use for a fretboard, you can use for an inlay as well. Yeah, Big Nasty. I think I'm not familiar with Home Depot. As you can imagine, I'm in the Netherlands, but yeah, I have found that the stuff you get at a hardware store, just regular strips of aluminium, work best. Especially the anodized ones. You're going to lose the layer, of course, left by anodizing, but the aluminium is a bit harder than some of the other alloys. Of course, aluminium is always an alloy, and the cheaper one, the cheaper aluminium, is a bit harder and tends to be more suited for inlays. I've had some industrial grade aluminium, and I don't know the alloy, guys, so don't ask me the exact alloy numbers, but it was too soft. Or too soft, it was softer. Also, when polishing it, it left a black residue more than the harder aluminium. And I thought about, for this guitar build, to do some inlays in pewter to cast the inlay. Guys, I'm forgetting one thing very important. I'm forgetting to drink my coffee. Can you guys see this, by the way? Oh, you can, to some extent. Come on. Oh, Barry is clearly someone who knows his aluminium. Does it say? Let's see. One moment, guys. Yeah, I'm using just these regular strips, and Well, let's see if I can show you guys this. Come on, focus. No, don't focus on my eyes, focus on the barcode. It says 20W32, but I don't know if it's the grade of aluminium. But this is the stuff I use. This is cheap strips you get at, in my case, a Dutch brand, the Horenbach. I believe it's supplied by Hettig. If I'm no, maybe not even. Hettig is the hinges and stuff. I'm not sure the manufacturer of this, but I buy it at the Horenbach. Used to build hovercrafts. All right. Great. I just turned on a fan, guys. I don't know if it's bothering you on the mic. If so, let me know. Yeah, there are lots of grades, lots of alloys. Hi Hartsy, welcome to the stream, thank you. Yeah, I'm here today doing boring stuff for much too long. What do you guys like to do while doing boring stuff like sanding for hours? Watching YouTube, listening to a podcast, listening to music, live stream. How is this looking? Yeah, maybe I should focus more. On the inlays. It's a major setback having to redo those inlays. It set me back more than a week, I think. Or at least a week, I should say. Midnight Scroller, thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you. Thank you very much. I highly appreciate it. Dances with Aardvarks in the stream. Even Hardy said. And for me, not boring to watch. I also hate some boring work when you barely see the result. It's completed. I like to keep in my head that it's... Yeah. Nice you could join us. And for everyone watching, what's this? I'm going to try and tap this. Oh yeah, out it. Can I? Right. I have to look into it. I should also make a automated thank you reply for super chats, if that's possible. I have all kinds of automation set up, notifications, but I'm still learning, guys. I'm still learning how to live stream, and maybe one day I'll become a proper YouTuber. Every time I keep seeing little scratches somewhere. And guys, also a pro tip when doing inlays. Not only focus on the front if all the curves are nice and consistent and nice and clean, but also check the back. More often than not, there's especially in these sharp corners, there are bits a bit off, and when you're going to inlay it and then later on going to it seems all nice until you're going to sand it back, and then all those imperfections you left halfway around the back become visible. So also focus on the back and make sure all the edges and the sides are all nice and clean. How come you don't use a flex shaft to do this? Acrylic. I'm not sure what a flex shaft is. Dances with aardvarks. And this is aluminium. Or aluminum, depending on where you're from. So, another piece done. No, I don't fancy doing a wing now. I want to do a phoenix head. Come here. Come on. A lot more to go. Nice and big phoenix head. Come on. Four. Oh, a Dremel. This is too tiny to do with a Dremel. It works maybe for these inside corners perhaps, but the rest is way too small to do with a Dremel. For some of these tiny pieces, even this very small diamond file is too big. So, doing it by hand and streaming while doing it is, I found the best way of doing it. Although it takes a very, very long time. Yeah, I hope so, Hot 8. I surely hope all this effort isn't for nothing. Yeah, for polishing, I think. I'm not sure for sanding. Yeah, it looks good, but like I said, having to do this now for the I've already done 2, so another 2 to go. So this is the 3rd one, the 3rd and the 4th inlay. I wish I was done. Oh, coffee. Stanley, no. Cutting aluminium with a laser is still pretty difficult for most laser cutters because of the melting point of aluminium is so low. I've tried laser cutting with several companies for my former logo, and there was only one who could do it, but it was very expensive. And the others couldn't do these fine details, and I think these details are even finer. For example, I don't know if the camera is focusing. I have to hide chat for a moment. But as focus camera, come on, focus. It doesn't focus, and it's black. Maybe like so. Especially those very tiny details. I have to hide my face because it's looking for my face. These tiny details on the top of the Phoenix, they will melt when laser cutting. It's too small. I have to look up in the settings. There should be a setting on the camera that should allow me to do things like that, showing small stuff. Mick Carr, you must have a lot of patience. I've only ever done dots or block inlays on Les Paul. Great to see you back. Yeah, nice to be back, Mick. It's scary now and then being back, but so far so good. Only last week I had a little lapse after discovering the mistake, to be honest. Yeah, water jets would have also be a possibility, but again, fine details. And yeah, but I'm keeping eyes out to the developments on laser cutting, water cutting, sintering. I don't know if it's the correct term in English, but where they have a superheated wire cut through steel. Is it called wire EDM? What I'm thinking about? When they submerge everything in water and have some kind of wire sliced through the material. And usually, if you don't have access to machines like that, then doing one-offs is really expensive. Like Dances with Aardvarks says, it's very expensive. If you want to order 1,000 or 2,000 inlays, then it becomes much cheaper. And then you have other processes. You can have them cast, for example. But because I'm only making 1 or 2 offs, even if I have to charge for all my hours, which unfortunately I can't, is even yeah, sometimes even cheaper. Yeah. Sometimes I wish I had a better, fancier setup to live stream, so we could look up some videos of topics that come up in stream. Maybe I'll look into that for the regular live from the workshop streams, the live Q&As and such. It would be nice to pull up videos and pull up references of things we're talking about. And that's what I love about live streaming, guys. The interaction, that you can go into much more detail and much more precise, answer questions much more precise than I can in a video. And talk about other topics. Learn from you guys. Much better. Dances with Aardvarks. Yes, it's a Sjobergs workbench. It's the duplex one, so it's the adjustable one. And for anyone familiar with my channel, yesterday I installed the supportive plate that goes with it, and the bench is much more stable now. It's not rock solid, but that's because of my wooden floor. It's bolted to, but adding the steel plate helped tremendously. And do you ever watch the Guitar Builders Collective podcast? Yes, I do, sometimes. And if you look at their channel, you can see the announcement that I will be joining their podcast, I think begin August. So I will be on the Guitar Builders Collective podcast as a guest. So keep an eye out on that one. I'm going to shout out to Daniel, who is doing the Devil and Sons channel and who's the driving force behind the Guitar Builders Collective on YouTube. Together with Bonehead Guitars. So I'm very much looking forward to be on their podcast. Also another way to interact with the Guitar Builders community and guitar enthusiasts here on the YouTube. The big and scary internet. Oh my goodness, this is so tiny. Yeah, maybe he can. Yeah, it's it has mostly to do that I'm streaming from my iPad. I don't have a laptop. I use an iPad Pro, and only since the latest OS update is it possible to connect an external camera to an iPad Pro. And there's only one publisher that has streaming software for the iPad, but it hasn't fully integrated into YouTube yet. So I can't, for example, choose whether or not to replay the live chat once the video releases and such. There are some settings I can't do, but I think it works. It works very well. I have stream elements, so you can see the latest subscribers, latest tips, and I will do another header for super chats as well, which I see Hot 8 just sent a super chat of $2. Thank you very much, Hot. Can't wait to see the guitar finish. Yeah, me neither, man, me neither. But I'm taking it very slow and very precise, and I take my time to build it. And we've been working on the neck and the fretboard for way too long, to my liking. But you'll see once they're done making the body and such, it goes so fast. I usually can make a body in a day or so. And I'm focusing more these days on filming and such, and I hope it shows in my videos. I really try to improve the quality of the videos and make it a bit more interesting to look at. Higher quality images and such. Dance with Aardvarks, a phoenix rising from the ashes. Have I missed an awesome restoration? Well, in one way you're looking at it. It has all. I don't know if you have seen the prologue to this build, but essentially I'm restoring myself by building a guitar and sharing the process in as much detail as I can. And to give some context for this build, for anyone who hasn't seen the first episode, the prologue, I highly recommend doing it. I'm very, very proud of that video. It took me 2 months to make. I had to learn a whole set of new skills. But yeah, I'm proud of that one. Thank you, dancers. I'm going to shorten it, if I may do so. And welcome to the channel. I forgot to mention, but I think I've seen your name pop up before, maybe. Yeah, I sure have. Dances or Mike? Thank you, Mike. How do you know when you're done? Oh, thank you, Midnight. Thank you very much for the compliment. I want to do something else. I don't want to do an intricate one. I'm losing focus a bit, so I'm going to do some easier ones so I can look at chat while sending. Oh, there's plenty of luthier type things on this channel. Oh, Simon Duffy, you did really well in the GGBO a couple of years ago. Simon, no, I won't. I'm not even sure the GGBO still exists, to be honest. But no, I'm not going to compete in the GGBO anymore. For once, I think it should be more for, at least the general competition should be more for less experienced guitar builders, hobbyists. I don't like the term hobbyist, but less experienced with less of a following. But because it always ends up as a popularity contest. So it would be unfair to most if I joined the regular competition. And there has been stuff going on that I will not go into any detail. But let's say the relations are not what they were between the organization and myself. Maybe this. What does Unquendo mean? No, not a dumb question at all. Big nasty. Unquendo comes from Quenya, which is an Elvish language invented by Tolkien for Lord of the Rings, the books. And translated from the Elvish language to English, Unquendor means hollow land. When you translate hollow land from English into Dutch, you get Holland or the Netherlands. And that's why many years ago I started using the name Unquendor on the internet as my main username. And when I started making guitars, it made the most sense to me to keep using the nickname Unquendor. Right there, that mic. What's your opinion on gluing in frets with GA glue? Is it easier to put the glue in the slot than press the fret in, or press the fret in? And I prefer to wick in the glue afterwards, Volte. And that's because I usually spend a lot of time in polishing my fretboards before the frets go in. So when I sand in the radius, I really take a lot of time to sand it perfect, polish the wood perfectly, and I don't want to spoil that polish with CA glue when I'm going to press in a fret and it squirts out a lot of CA glue onto my freshly polished fretboard, and I have to use scalpel blades or scrapers to remove that CA glue from the freshly polished fretboard. So I like to wick it in afterwards, but this is going to be a bound fretboard. So I'm forced to use some glue in the fret slot before pressing in the frets. So let's see how that goes. But usually I wick the glue in from the side. GGBO is no more. Jerks Cup is the new community build along, and all for charity and the community. Oh, I have to look into that, Barry. Thank you. Yeah, I heard something that the GGBO was no more. As soon as... No, well, I'm not going into that. Did you ever see... Oh, thank you for the nerd points, dances. Did I ever see the complication? Yeah, I think I saw it in real life. I've been to Crimson twice? 3 times. I've been to Crimson, so I saw the guitars. Yeah, it's smaller. Will Holland win the Euros? I'm not sure. I'm not that into football. The entire country tends to think so. I'm not sure. I think I don't know. They should have good chances when you look at the players in that team, but who knows? I'm not sure. I don't care as much, to be honest. Yeah, that's often the case with art guitars, Barry. The art tends to hinder the playability. And that's why at Nintendo guitars playability comes first. Always. That's a good way to spend your evening, Barry. and a nice thing to do while watching a stream. Boring stuff. Sanding, cleaning super glue from frets. Polishing frets. Restringing your guitars if you're not into guitar making. Just restring your guitars while watching the live stream. Clean it a bit. It doesn't seem to be as well publicized. Who would have thought that Luttery had such politics? As soon as people are involved, companies are involved and money is involved, you will have politics. Unfortunately. Not as much, to be honest. At least not for tools for guitar making. I think I'm pretty set. There's a couple of bigger machines I would like to own, like a thicknesser, or a planer thicknesser to be exact, with a nice spiral cutter. Something I would like to have. And yeah, I've seen a very nice pillar drill, fully automated. That's something I would like to have. But when it comes to hand tools, I'm currently pretty set. Usually I only buy tools, hand tools, when I come across them when I'm visiting a shop, for example, or a garage sale or yard sale, flea market, something like that. Only this weekend I bought a vintage tool for €1, fully functioning little hand drill. It works great. I don't know the brand. There used to be a sticker here, but it's gone, and there are no other marks. But I like that that there's a housing over the wheels. How do you call it? Sprocket. So only 50 cents. Fully functioning hand drill. You can't leave that for 50 cents. But otherwise I'm mostly looking for tools to improve the behind the scenes. Currently I'm looking for a new tripod for the camera. I'm looking for tools to improve my video making, because that's taking up most of my time currently. It's setting up shots. I only have a single camera, so setting up different shots, having to do several takes from different angles to create an interesting story. So those are things I currently am looking for to make my life a bit easier. Let's see, sanding aluminium and not having totally black hands, and sometimes face, is a skill I need to learn. Well, not have a black face is don't touch don't touch your face when sanding aluminium. And like we said, we discussed earlier in the stream, this aluminium doesn't turn black when sanding. I don't know why. It has to do with the alloy. But I had aluminum or aluminium that indeed, as soon as you sanded it, it turned black and your whole hands would be black. But it's just a bit grayish. What's your favorite guitar you've ever played? Paul asks. That's my Westone Pantera. Besides the guitars I've built myself, because the Celtic Sonia I've made is such an amazing guitar. I have to keep myself from playing it too much so it's unsellable, but that's the best guitar I've ever played. And a guitar that's not made by me is my Westone Pantera. My Westone Pantera X390 Deluxe is such an amazing guitar, and that's why I made a tribute to that guitar. That guitar, the Westone, is older than I am. It's almost 50 years old. So it's real vintage. And it's such an amazing guitar. I agree, I found the general guitar building community to be wholeheartedly supportive. Yeah, I can only agree, Simon. It's, I think, the best community on the internet. The guitar building community. At least one of the best. I have to knock on wood because I rarely get nasty comments, and that's a rare thing on YouTube. Not getting any nasty comments. Or real nasty. Sometimes there are comments I don't hardly agree with, but hey, I'm very lucky in regards of comments, and I think that's all to do with the community. Nice, mature community, respectful to one another, and hear all about the craft. Egg whisk beater drill, yeah. Come on, next piece. UK amateur guitar builders on Facebook. Yeah, unfortunately I can't access my Facebook anymore. Yeah, it is, Simon. The first time you play a guitar you made yourself, it's unforgettable, and that's how I got into guitar building, as someone who likes to keep building guitars. That feeling, and I really wanted to share that feeling with as many people as possible. For someone who can't do it themselves, who can't build them themselves, and for people who want to give it a go. Yeah, Barry, I got banned. Yeah, I got hacked, and I got banned for life from Facebook. Unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think it's a Stanley as well. I think I have a Stanley and it doesn't have the casing around the gears. Gears, that's the word I was looking for. Again, words. That's the downside of a live stream. When I'm recording videos, I can sometimes look up a word. If I can't recall it, I can use Google Translate to help me recall a word in English. Yeah, I could do that, Barry, but it was tied to the company. And to be honest, I don't miss it as much. There still is the Inquendor Guitars Facebook page still exists, and luckily my wife still has access to post something once in a while, if it's worth posting. But to be honest, I don't miss Facebook that much. Dances with Aardvarks. What's my favorite plane to use? I've got two actually. One is this a very old, repaired Stanley, made in the USA, Stanley number 120. It's said to be well over 100 years old. It's turn of the century, previous century. So 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. Made in the USA, small little plane. It has a very small mount and it's very suitable to do very delicate work. I've talked about this plane, not in the last video that aired today, but last week's video. I talked about this plane. Very nice plane. Although it's very old, the blade stays really sharp. And to be honest with you guys, I've bought this from Ben Crow. And my other favorite plane, because I have two, is my Stanley number 7. This is a new plane. I bought this new, but it's customized. I've customized the handle, so I made a new nice wooden handle that fits my fairly large hands. Wooden knob to prevent blisters from the plastic knob, and it's set up to perfection. And I've changed the blade. There's a Veritas blade in it because the Stanley blade is too thin. It scatters along because along the wood because it's too thin. But having the nice Veritas replacement blade, which is much thicker, it's a beautiful plane. I love this plane. Mick Carr is right, UK Amateur is a great community. Mick makes nice... I'll check it out. I try to get back on Facebook maybe, and if I manage to do so, I will check it out. And I will check Mick Carr out as well. Vintage tool guy, nice. I don't have a preference. I think on a tool wall like this, vintage tools look much better, and I always try to get tools with wooden handles because it looks much nicer. It feels much nicer in when you're working with them. But I don't really have a preference for vintage or new. Vintage tends to be when bought correctly and bought from someone who used the tools daily. I think vintage is usually a bit better, or at least someone has already spent the time to set it up correctly. So you don't have to do that again in comparison with new tools. Ja, even kijken. Hi Simon, thank you for the nice work too. Big Nasty. Yeah, planes are cool. Yeah, they are. And I'm starting to get into planes more and more. I used to see them as a necessity for some jobs, but I keep finding new uses for them. And that's mainly because they're finally, after a couple of years using them and fine-tuning them, they're now perfect for my hands. So they're now a joy to use instead of a nuisance. Did you ever do motocross? Mick. Did I miss it? I think I've missed something. Yeah, dances. A good blade makes all the difference in any plane. If you put a crappy plane in a Lee Nielsen plane, a crappy blade in a Lee Nielsen plane, it's a crappy plane. Or it will underperform, to put it nicely. There's a big No more big scratches. My new shop shed looks like it's filling up quick. Yes, it does. And do I think I'll outgrow it anytime soon? Yes, yesterday. It's already, I wouldn't say too small yet, but like I said, I would like to have some bigger equipment that I just can't fit. For example, like I said, a planer thicknesser would be a welcome addition to the shed. And I am looking into some more modern technology like laser cutter or CNC, and especially I think a laser cutter to make templates and to make jigs, maybe even for you guys, and to be able to manufacture some stuff besides guitars. But I don't have the space in this workshop, so I have to convince my wife to maybe put it inside the house, maybe. But we'll see. But it's to be honest, for what I'm doing right now, it's just big enough to build 1-2 guitars at a time. But yeah, hopefully if Inquendo Guitars starts to kick off a bit more, I would like to have a bigger place. And at least right now the office and showroom are inside the house and the workshop is in my garden. And I would love to have it all in one place, that when people come to visit we can hang around in the showroom, play a couple of guitars, go to the workshop to look at some guitars that are being made and such. Just have an experience for when someone comes to visit me. And because now it's not all in one place, you tend to stay where you are. When I get customers over, get someone over, and we meet in the workshop, we tend to stay in the workshop and don't go to the showroom. And the other way around as well. When we start in the showroom, we seldomly have a chance to go to the workshop, or maybe just for a couple of minutes. And that's a bit of a shame. I would love to have it all in one place. Yes, Simon. Yes, sharpening your planes can be a job of its own. Until you've got your method down and you've got your blades sharp for the first time using that method, then it's just a matter of maintaining. But if I had to guess, I think most people don't maintain their planes and their bladed tools as well as they should, or not as often as they should. Yeah, Mick, you always need more space. It's just with guitars, you always need one more. And same goes with space. You always need a couple of square feet more. Hi, Captain Kirk. Nice of you to join us. Here we go. Have you ever thought seriously about trying to make an acoustic? Yes, I have. But at the moment I'm not confident enough to try it in my workshop. But I have been thinking about maybe going to do a course. There's a very good guitar building school here in the Netherlands. Someone I'm acquainted with. Oh, there's something to drink. Thank you. So someone I'm acquainted with has a guitar building school here in the Netherlands, and what I think of doing, but I need to have more time, at least 1 or 2 weeks consecutively. So to go and do a course with him while making a YouTube video series about it. So you guys can follow along with me building my first acoustic, because I think making an acoustic is a whole different ball game. But yeah, I've thought about it. Thought about it. What did I do? Took out another wing. I don't want to do wings today. I want to do a couple of easy ones. So I have a feeling I did something useful tonight. Keep the wings for maybe tomorrow. But I think it's going to be scorching hot tomorrow, if the weather forecast is correct. So then the shed will turn into a sauna. Some new sandpaper. Paper. Come back. Would you make your own purfling and binding? Preferably I make my own. Thanks, Barry. Thank you very much for the confidence in me. Well, I'm lacking a bit. Took out too much. Yeah, I agree, Mick. It's totally different. Except maybe making the neck and the fretwork will be of course very similar to an electric, but I don't know where to start tuning the top and the back, making the placing and making the bracing. Making the bracing would be fine, but things I have to look out for, things I have to keep in mind when making bracing, where to put them. Yeah, I think it would be easier to do a course and to have some experienced luthier show you the ropes for your first. I think I could teach myself how to do it, but I just don't have the time to study how to do it. Yes, Simon, I think so. I think so. I think there's a currently the at least that's what I've noticed, that currently the market share for acoustics is bigger than for electrics across the board, from cheap to very expensive. And there might be more acoustic players willing to or looking for a custom instrument than there are for electric players. Maybe it has to do with the perception of tone and quality. Maybe the difference between a medium quality or a medium priced acoustic guitar and a custom guitar are more noticeable or more distinct than between a mid-tier electric and a custom electric guitar. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, Daisy, Tempest, I thought she said she only makes 2 a year. So that has to be 20,000-30,000 pounds, euros, dollars guitars. If you want to make a living with a reasonable wage. Yeah, exactly, Mick. Most likely, when going into acoustic builds, most likely the first couple will end up as firewood or maybe a wall hanger. I've customized my first acoustic. 28,000, yeah, so somewhere in between. Someone could buy 5 of my guitars for that amount of money. £28,000. That's serious money. Yeah, I'm going to book the course tomorrow. I'm going to shift to acoustics. I tend not to look at too much at competition or colleagues or whatever you like to call it, for my own sanity, but I'm a bit flabbergasted right now. Jim Thompson, just been pointed at your stream by my son. I have to say I'm seriously envious of your workspace. Ah, thank you. Thank you, Jim. And welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, Barry, you should keep an eye out on the competition, but it can be a bit disheartening. Is that the correct term? At least it was for me the last year. I focused too much on what everyone else was doing. And then I stopped. Tried to stop looking. And now I try not to look at all, just for my own sanity. Oh yes, it is, Simon, but I don't know, it's well, this is an honest stream. It's such a hard balance I found between what you think is reasonable to ask for a guitar, what people are willing to pay for a guitar, and what you should charge for a guitar. And I know you guys have seen me sanding these inlay pieces for almost 2 days straight now before I'm finished. First the first ones, now the second batch. It's a lot of hours. And I think there's a difference in doing this stuff for a stock guitar or for a fully custom guitar. If someone would commission me to build them a guitar and would have this idea of very intricate inlay, yeah, of course that guitar will be more expensive than a stock guitar with an inlay that I decided to do. Yeah. A dentist or something, lawyer. Or better yet, a very famous guitarist who's willing to promote my guitars. Man, this piece is so delicate. Yeah. No, not really, Simon. It depends on the model. The Nessas are usually more hard rock metal oriented indeed, but the Sonya guitars, so the single cut models, are very all round. All my guitars are very all round, but especially the Sonya guitars are more oriented to classic rock, blues and such. And that's because they are equipped with the Fishman Classics. Both the look, of course, the full wooden bodies, full wooden tops, no colors, just honest wood with oil finishes. They're a bit more mellow, maybe. But especially the versatility of the Fishman Classics makes them really suitable for other genres as well. They can shred if you want them to, but they're more suited for the classic music styles. Ooh, who is your favorite guitar player? I think Steve Rothery from Marillion. I think his melodic solos and his melodic playing is so tasteful. Especially, I'm more familiar with the older Marillion, so the Fish era and early Hogarth era, and I'm not that familiar with them anymore. But I always liked, and still do, love all solos by Steve Rothery. I'm not sure what that means, Barry, but I will look into it. A Hawk Tuah guitar? I'm not familiar, I'm sorry. So one more, I'm going to do one more. Let's see, what's still in here? Billy Gibbons, yeah, another great player. I'm thinking of others. And of course the obvious one, John Petrucci, Steve Vai, early Steve Vai, to be honest. I can't recall their names. The guitar players from Amorphis, I can't recall their names. I'm not that good with names in general. Oh, I should look into her, Barry. Gary Moore, yeah. I'm of course Mark Knopfler to some extent. I wasn't that into blues until lately. I started, you might have noticed, for anyone familiar with my videos, that I started using other music in my videos. And since I'm listening to hours and hours of blues rock, modern blues, traditional blues, country rock, I can't stand country, I'm sorry, but the more southern rock, I start to appreciate blues more and more. Yeah, Zappa, I'm not into Zappa that much, but I know of him, of course. Oh yeah, of course, Dave Gilmour, Pink Floyd. How could I forget? But if you're asking me for my, from the top of my head, favorite, most recognizable guitar player, it still is Steve Rothery. And I think it's one of the, if not the most underrated, recognized guitarists out there. Look him up if you're not familiar. If you're not familiar with Marillion, and don't, although it's a great solo in Kaylee, don't only listen to Kaylee. But for example, Sugar Mice and the solo in Sugar Mice, terrific. And the change in dynamics he can do with playing, from going from melodic solos to big, bombastic, open chords. I just love it. Cliffmore, okay. Yeah, Guitar Addicts Workshop. I did reveal it in both other streams and in today's video, but I can show you. Hopefully the camera will focus. I have to change this for a moment. Come on, focus. Oh, it focuses on my head, so I have to do this. This is the Inlay. Here Gear, hi there, welcome to the stream. Saw Marillion at a reading festival in the early 80s. They were great, yeah, especially in the 80s. They were a bit more psychedelic in the early days. But when they transitioned from psychedelic into more symphonic rock, yeah, I love them, especially in the early albums. Clutching at Straws from Marillion is by far my most favorite album. I don't listen to it that often, but it's always the music you go back to. That's, we all have periods we're into different kinds of music or different bands, but there's always that one band or that one album you keep going back to. And for me that's Clutching at Straws from Marillion. Yeah. Yeah, for me as well, dances, well, rather mid 80s mid 80s to mid 90s, I think. Stanley, no, I was not. No, no, I'm not. I'm not really into the psychedelic stuff, but a lot of bands from the 70s and 80s, like, for example, Genesis, Marillion, all those, what later became symphonic rock bands, started more in the psychedelic rock scene. If you listen, for example, the Marillion album Fugazi, or early Genesis stuff with Peter Gabriel dressed as a flower when he came onto stage, that's more, it's weird. Even bands like Status Quo started out or had a more psychedelic period. When you listen to Status Quo, for example, Pictures of Matchstick Man, it's weird. Tom Scholz, yeah. Did any great rock bands come of the Netherlands? Yeah, I think when you're talking about old stuff, of course, the Golden Earring had a -- 1 hit in the US charts, and I think also in the UK charts. Other famous bands, yeah, also very strange, early 70s, Hocus Pocus. Let me think. Yeah, and of course, currently Epica is one of the Epica and Within Temptation, so more metal bands. Other rock bands that did well internationally, yeah, Kensington, I think, had quite some success abroad. Yeah, Radar Love, yeah, Golden Earring, Radar Love. I thought there were a couple more. Shocking Blue, of course, Venus, Shocking Blue was, I believe it's a Dutch band. But yeah, there are metal bands of Dutch origins. The Gathering is well known abroad. Almost the inventors of the female-fronted heavy metal. Some pioneers, with of course Within Temptation, The Gathering, Epica. Yeah, and we're mostly international, mostly known for our EDM, the dance DJs, house DJs. Yeah, Doe Maar. But I don't know if it's a Dutch band. There's another Dutch heavy metal band called Heideroosjes. Not Heideroosjes, Heidevolk. It's a pagan folk heavy metal band. And it's great. There are YouTube clips of them in Brazil on Monsters of Rock or a big festival. And the entire crowd is singing in Dutch because they only have Dutch lyrics. Maybe 1 or 2 songs in English, but they play more abroad than they do in the Netherlands, but their lyrics are in Dutch. Yeah, the Urban Dance Squad. Yeah, was it? Did they have international success though? Maybe Vandenberg, the former Ad van den Berg at Vandenberg. Former guitarist of Whitesnake, before he started Vandenberg. This Lonely Heart of Mine is a well-known song of his. Yeah, Barry. Early Genesis. Early Genesis is really trippy. If you've ever seen one of those old live shows, it's hilarious. And you can see why they kicked Peter Gabriel from the band at one point. Yeah, Venga Boys, but I don't consider that rock. Venga Boys to a limited. It's EDM. DJ Chesto, Paul Elstock. All those guys. What's his name? Afrojack. So we had a couple of Dutch bands. Yeah, Big Nasty. Thank you very much for joining the stream, and have a nice pizza, have a nice meal. Oh yeah, it's Focus. It's Hocus Pocus is the song, I believe. Not? Yeah, the guitar player is Jan Akkerman of that band. If I'm correct. Hocus Pocus with Focus. I can't recall. I wasn't even born then. So. That was more my father's band and music style. I grew up on Status Quo. Simon, yeah, I'm going to use a Dremel to do the inlay, but I'm not using a scribe because it's too tiny to scribe around. I always stick a printed copy to the fretboard and trace that with the Dremel. Or first cut out the picture with a scalpel blade and then very carefully route it with my Dremel tool. Yeah, I'm a youngster. To some. But for most I'm already becoming old. Especially to my own eyes. Yeah, both Eddie Van Halen, the two brothers, Eddie and Alex, I believe, were both Dutch. They were born in the Netherlands. Another famous artist from Dutch descent is Bruce Springsteen. His grandfather was Dutch. Because Springsteen is a Dutch last name. Here, the same surname. That'd be something. Oh wow. I don't know if that's a bad thing, dances. Yeah, my first name is Daniel, but surname is... Isn't it your last name? Surname? Or am I mistaken? First name is correct. I'm Daniel. Yeah. I'm born in 79. Official vintage. We all had those moments, dances. Yeah, guys, there's a couple of seconds delay on the stream, unfortunately. I can't set it up without any delays from my iPad, unfortunately. Huge Tolkien, well, huge Tolkien fan. I'm an overall a fantasy novel fan, and of course Tolkien being one of them. Would I say I'm a super fan and I know everything about Tolkien? No, I'm not. I love the books. I love the story. I love the amount of effort he put into his building his world, into the world building. But I'm not what I would call a super fan that knows everything and everything there is to know. Yeah, perhaps I'm only a baby to some, Chris. To some. You never see them in the same. I don't know what you're aiming at, Stanley. Mick, take care. Thank you for joining the stream. And maybe see you in the next one. Have a nice day. I can't say I've ever heard of them here, Gear. So I don't know. Oh. Oh, it's almost time. It's almost time to leave. Is there another easy one? If not, tot straks. Kom eens aan. Yeah, there are no easy ones left. I did all the easy ones. And I'm not going to start another wing. Oh no, oh yeah, you rarely see us in the same room, Stanley. That's correct. It might have never happened before. Not sure, but yeah, catch you on the next one, Barry. I'm not going to stream much longer. Bye bye. Take care. See you in the next one. I'm going to finish my drink and get rid of all the used bits of sandpaper so I can start fresh tomorrow. Yeah, Cliff, thank you for hanging around. Take care. Bye bye. I have to look there and not there. The chat and my camera are slightly off, and I really would love to look into the camera, but yeah, nice little jars, aren't they? And they're perfect for holding small parts. Dust. I have a whole, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a whole collection of those jars filled with different species, wood types, and they're very cheap. Yeah, dancers, see you again. Thanks for joining the stream. I'm going to put the final pieces away and make sure everything is ready for me when I can finish sanding those small pieces. Also a good habit for anyone still watching to get into. Clean your bench when you're done for the day. Or have only the tools and stuff laying there that you're going to need the next day. So yeah, guys, I'm going to finish my drink. I'm going to call it for today. My wife just came in telling me she went to bed, so I think I'm going to join her. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for joining. Guys, whoever is still watching, I'm going to look at the camera. Don't look at the iPad, look at the camera. Guys, thank you all very much for joining this live stream. Another impromptu pop-up live stream. Yeah, if you liked it, make sure to leave a like. It really helps. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you don't want to miss any future streams or any videos, be sure you are subscribed to my channel and you get a little notification once I go live or when I upload a video. Guys, I hope to see you all. Thank you very much for joining this stream. I hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day, have a nice night, and see you in the next time. Bye bye.